Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Big D coming at you, and I have another build I want to show you. In this video here, I'm rebuilding my wife's trike, and I want to take you through some of the ways that you can customize a trike. In my last video, I showed you how I customize. Well, I didn't show you. I just showed my trike when it was all customed out, but I didn't really make a video about how I did it. In this video, I'll take you into a little bit of a in-depth dive about how I'm customizing her trike and the versatility of how a person can build up a trike. My wife wanted some extended range on her trike, and so this is what I came up with. Now, on a regular trike, you can mount like one or two different batteries. Of course, my wife, like I said, she wanted extended range, and this is what I came up with. Before, the batteries were mounted on top of the box back here. Let me show you real quick. They were mounted like this. We had one there and we had one here, and that's the way they were mounted previously in the past, but she didn't want that look anymore, but she wanted the batteries a little bit more lower profile, and this is what I came up with here. So bear with me here. This is just a mock-up, but this is what I came up with. But not only that, but she wanted a third battery, and we're gonna take you through how I did this so that you understand just how versatile a trike can be, and there really is no limitations on how you can customize a trike. Now, I get it. A lot of people think, yeah, it's a trike, they're big and bulky, but you know what? If you put a big enough motor on these trikes, like I said, you can get these up to 50 miles an hour. Just look at my bike, right? I built a e-trike that goes 50 miles an hour, and I love it. Now, I don't abuse that speed. I have it if I need it, and bada boom, bada bing. But anyway, let's get into the build, and let me show you what I did here. First off, let me remove the back battery back here so I don't accidentally dump it. And now this box isn't nailed down at all, so I can just pull this off. And it's not really a box, it's a, well, it is, it's a toolbox. So yeah, I guess it is a box, right? Let me take off these batteries as well. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, and I'll show you what I did here. Okay. All these are just 2x4s, cut to a certain length. And I made like this railing system, so everything will sit nice and neatly on this railing system. And these are big, thick, heavy 2x4s. You know, they're not going to break. All I got to do is weather treat them. You know, there's many different ways you can weather treat wood nowadays. You can pretty much use even paint. You know, like a DuPont paint or any kind of paint or whatever. But yeah, you know, you want to treat this wood. Now on this trike you have 4 holes that hold in the basket, but I decided instead of a basket back here, I wanted to extend the length, right? So I can house multiple batteries. Now the reason why I countersunk these and fill these with resin, because I don't want to use the standard, put a screwdriver here and then a ratchet underneath and untighten the bolt that way. You know, I just want to be able to untighten the bolt from underneath and not have to worry about hold this down. That's what the resin does. So I took resin and I put it in here, but before I did that, I drilled the hole to match up all 4 bolts, and then I countersunk using resin. And this is a 2-part resin, part A, part B. And right up here is the resin. This is part A, part B. You mix it, you mix equal parts A, equal parts B. You want to mix it up completely, thoroughly, and then pour it into the holes, and it will pretty much bind to anything, right? So that's what I did. And so now if I want to take these wood planks off, all I have to do is come underneath and untighten the bolts. And as you can see, I'm turning it, right? You can see the play now, right? And then as I tighten it again, hang on, I'm doing this with my fingers, so bear with me here. I don't have a tool. And so now it's pretty solid. You see that? And that head of that screw does not turn. Now you have to be careful because you can break off the bolt. so you have to be careful how tight you make this. But yeah, you can break the bolt off, and if you did that, you'd have to start from scratch and do the whole thing over. But that's what I did for the railing system. And then what I'll do is get a plank of wood and cut it to length from here all the way down, and maybe as wide as the toolbox. So you got to think about 12 inches or even 13 inches wide or 14 inches wide, going straight down the length of the wood. And so now this will be the railing system, kind of like you would see on a shelf. If you ever hung a shelf on the wall, you have the supports that hold the shelf, and then the shelf goes on top, and there you go. That's basically what this is, and that gives me the extended length. Now, the reason why I countersunk these holes is twofold. Because if you don't do that, then when you put a battery on here, you are going to run into a problem. You're going to have these bolts that kind of hold things up. You know, your battery will be sitting cockeyed. This way, I can mount right over the bolt and use every inch of this wood, and not have to worry about the bolt heads popping up. So it's all flush and it's all usable wood. You know, I can mount right over this and not be a problem. Does that make sense? So that's why I did that, and plus it makes it easier for me to take on and off, because like I said, I don't need to hold the screwdriver here and then come underneath and untighten the bolt, right? So I always have one hand free, and I can work easier that way. And then that's what I did with this. So now you have a really good base in which to mount anything you want to. So like now, if you put your box back up here, I'm working with one hand, bear with me. You can put your box up here. Like I said, you'd want a piece of wood that goes the entire width of the box, right? And then go down the length of the wood. And now you have all this room back here to mount all your batteries, right? And so now my wife is going to have extended range, an empty toolbox, and then an empty basket up front. And this basket was reinforced. I'll show you what I did with that in a minute. And all of her, for the lack of a better word, all of her electronics are housed underneath the basket instead of on top inside. I mounted the controller, and all the wires are going to be folded neatly, they're going to be neatly tucked underneath the basket, so she'll have a nice, clean, empty basket on the inside, and everything will be tucked up underneath. And to give you a little bit of a close-up here, this is how the basket is going to be mounted to her frame. As you can see, it clearly and neatly clears the rim or the wheel. It clears that completely. Look at that. Boom, right? And then what I'll do is I will secure the frame here from the basket to the neck, so when she turns, she'll have complete movement of the wheel and the basket without any pinching of the wires. Speaking of which wires, I just got done taking off the old harness. It was a bit worn out, it was a bit frayed, so I had to get a new harness. And this is some of my guts left over. I'll show you what I have here. I got some a big bag of nuts and bolts that I'll probably end up using. Let me get down here a little bit further. I'm getting old. In my bag of XT60 connectors, and I have a oh gosh, I can't think. This is my 48 volt step down to a 12 volt converter, and what I use this for is I use this to power all the lights. Now I have the same one on my bike that power all my lights, and let me explain how this works. I'm not sure if you people understand how this works, but let me explain. Let me kind of push this out of the way a little bit, and I'll give you a little bit of an in-depth. Where is one? Pigtail? Here it is. Okay, so here is your 48 volt e-bike battery, and here is the pigtail. All right, so this battery can either run the bike, or it can power lights, or it can do both. If you ran a splitter off this, so if you ran a splitter, you can go one to the motor and then the other to your converter and still run the e-bike battery off this. or run the e-bike, not the e-bike battery. You're going to run the motor and the e-bike lights off of this. Does that make sense? You can run a splitter. I'm not saying that correctly, but you understand what I'm saying. So you can do it that way, or I just dedicated one battery that we have to powering all of her lights. Now all of her lights are sitting over there in the corner, and I got more lights in my toolbox. I'm going to outfit her entire bike with cob lights and a combination of RGB, like red, blue, green lights. I'm going to follow the stem and all the frame, and I'll hide the wires up underneath the frame itself and put the lights right on top, and you'll never see the wires. You have to get kind of creative at that point. But same here, what I'll do is I will mount the cob lights right here and give it a nice clean look, but then I'll hide the wires up underneath so that they're out of sight. And I'll do the same with the bottom Y frame here, it's not a Y frame, but you know, with the bottom frame. And anyway, how this works is, let me get these wires separated here. Okay, so what this is a 48 volt step down to a 12 volt converter. So it will take the power from here, comes into this converter, and comes out to 12 volt. That means you can run anything 12 volt, like a 12 volt headlight, 12 volt cob light, 12 volt LED, anything 12 volt it will be able to run, and this is how you do it. So you take this wire, which is right here. This is your wire coming out, right? Hot and ground. That comes out. I just wadded up the wire so it's not as long, and I put a XT60 connector on it. You take the XT60 connector and you connect to the pigtail of your e-bike battery. You want to connect these two together. As you can see how they fit, you have a male and female connector, and then you will have a 12 volt out, and that's what these are. These are your 12 volt out, and as you can see here, that's what I did. I ran a split, so I have 3 different ground wires here, and I have 3 different hot wires here. All right, this is your hot wire, your plus wire. This is your ground wire. This would go to your lights or whatever you're trying to power. And what I did was, as you can see here, I have 4 different. Hang on here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hang on here. I have hot and ground. So what I did was, each plug allows me to do plug and play, right? So hot and ground, and then hot and ground, hot and ground. And that's what I did. That's called running a split. Now you have to be careful when you do this and make sure that you understand what you're doing with wiring, because I don't want to see you blow up your battery. I don't want to see you make a fire or catch fire to any of your property because you're trying to do what I did. Make sure that you understand voltage and your wattage, and make sure you get the right adapter. Again, this is a 48 volt. I'm not sure if it says anything on the back. Yeah, it does here. Maybe get a picture of this. You can see what I got here. Hang on, let me do a quick zoom in. I know YouTubers like that. Like, yeah, you know what? You didn't zoom in. Well, hang on here. Let me zoom in so that you understand what I got here. There we go. Are you getting that okay? All right. So that's what this is. It's a converter. So now I can run my e-bike battery into my converter, and then my converter wires will power all my cob lights. Easy peasy, slick and easy. It's just that simple. And let me, if I can get this, I don't know if I have it ready. I might. Let me see if I can do this here. I'll show you if it's got the right connector on it. I don't know. Hold on. Do a quick little demonstration. I don't believe I do have the right side. Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm going to take this, plug it into here, and hopefully this will work. It's going to be hard to do this with one hand, people. Hold on, let me see if I can get this plugged in. Oh, it's plugged in good enough, right? Okay. So that's plugged in to one of my outlets. Yeah? Then I take this, my pigtail with my pigtail. Now bear in mind all your wires are all going to be tucked in. They're all going to be nice and neat and tucked in, and everybody's all nice and happy. Yeah? Let me get this plugged in. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it. Hang on one more second, please. Bear with me, okay? I just plugged that in. Sorry about the confusion. And now let's turn on the e-bike battery itself, which is up here. And bada boom, bada bing. You see that? So now I can power my cob lights through this. And then I just simply turn off the e-bike battery, and it turns off. Turns on, turns off. See that? And that's how you can run your lights. Not only can you run your lights that way, but you can do all your lights. Make sure you wire it correctly, and you will not have any problems at all whatsoever. Let me unplug this, because I still have to hook everything up all nice and neat. But yeah, that's what the converter does. Right. Hang on, I gotta unplug this again. Sorry, my fault. Okay, bear with me. All right. So now that's unplugged. And now let's continue on with the build. Throw that down there. And put this heavy box right down here. Man, I think it's heavy. Okay, so now as you can see, I got that battery. I have this battery. And I have a third battery here. Now, believe it or not, this is not all the batteries I have. I have 3 more batteries that went to my bike. And I'm not currently using those, so I'm going to end up putting all 6 batteries on this bike. So, that is the versatility of having a trike. You can customize a trike in literally almost any combination that you want. You can add as many lights as you want. And believe me, trikes are really worth their own weight in gold. Her motor right now is it's a 500 watt nominal, 1000 watt peak motor. I am waiting for a wire harness to get here so I can run it, and everything up here, the wire harness and all the cables that you see dangling here, they're all going to fit up nice and neat under here. The only lead she's going to have is from the controller down here underneath the stem to the battery, so she can run her battery. And I'm going to run batteries, both batteries in a parallel connection hookup. This is how you hook up your batteries. This is a this is seeing some wear and tear. This, you can hook up 2 batteries with this. Anyway, this wire right here, this one right here goes into the pigtail of the motor, and then you simply hook up 2 e-bike batteries that are the same. I repeat, the same voltage, the same wattage, same everything. So 48 volt batteries at 15 amp hours each at 20 amps continuous. That's what these 2 batteries are. Exactly identical. I just put a white dot on here so I can distinguish between the 2 batteries. This battery here is going to run her lights, but these are all 15 amp hour batteries at 48 volts. This one is, I believe, hang on, let me see what this one is. If you guys can see that real quick, hang on, let me zoom this in. Getting that? Okay. And that's what these 2 batteries are as well. I just took the labels off so it wouldn't look so labely. Does that make sense? I like to keep things nice and neat. But anyway, these 2 batteries are going to be running in parallel. This one's going to run her lights and anything else I want. If I want to put a headlight up here, a regular car headlight, or even a really bright LED million candle power 12 volt light, I can do that too. It's just a matter of running the wires from the battery up front and or in back. But that is what a 12 volt step down converter can do. But anyway, I want to say thank you for taking some time and checking out what I'm doing with my wife's bike. By the way, these are brand new tires. I just got these installed. I got them on both sides here. I'm not going to replace the front. The front doesn't really need it yet. It's still in decent condition. But yeah, this is how I'm overhauling my wife's bike. And this is what I'm going to end up with. Of course, like I said, I'm going to put a sheet of wood over this. I am going to make it look nice and neat to make sure everything's leveled and smooth. I got my leveler ready to go. I just got to get to the hardware store, pick up a few odds and ends. I'll probably get some kind of a construction adhesive and do a little tweaking out to make sure everything is nice and level and make sure everything is secured and firm. I'll put her box on here, and yeah, she'll be good to go down the road in just a few days. I'm just waiting for the wire harness to get here, and this is all the scraps that's left over from my wife's old harness. And yeah, that's what I'm doing with her bike. I got it sitting here in my man cave. This is what I like to do. I like to take triks and customize them out. Of course, it's just a regular V4 trike. We bought this online, I think for, I don't know, $200. It's a fairly, affordable trike, but this is just one of many, many, many ways that you can take a basic trike right off the shelf, put an e-bike kit. This is just a regular plug-and-play kit, right? It even came with the battery. I believe it was for like $1,100. You get the whole wheel hub, you get the controller, you get the battery, you get everything you need. You just got to fit it into your front forks, put the dropouts, secure the dropouts, run your wires up into your handlebars. It's pretty self-explanatory. Run the wires and make sure you have the batteries for it. Like I said, it came with one battery, and we bought two more. And so now she wants extended range. Each battery is going to give her roughly about 35 miles with pedal assist. So you do the math, 35, 35, 35, bada boom, bada bing. You're looking at well over 100 miles worth of range. If she decides she wants the third battery hooked up, I will run a split off this guy. So it will go to the lights and it will go to the motor here. Now when I run the split, it's going to take a little juice out of this and add it to both of them. So you got to compensate. So when you hook up your dual battery connector, you got to compensate. So you're going a little bit to your lights and a little bit to both batteries. You understand that? That's where the split comes in. That's where you want to be careful. Because if this battery is like fully charged and this one's half empty, and you go to turn them on, you're going to blow this one up and you're going to severely damage this one. And when I mean blow up, these things go off like a road flare. If you ever taken a regular road flare and struck it, they go up. These things go up like a road flare. So if you do run a split, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know how many currents and voltage you're pulling for your lights and how many is going to the batteries. Because remember, you're going to run a split from here, not just to one battery, but to do that to two batteries. That's where your parallel connector comes into play. Okay. So it's a 2-to-1, right? And then this one is partially going into both. That's where you got to be really careful. You got to know what you're doing. So just don't, I'll just fake it. No, I think I know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden I get some hate email like, yeah, you know what? I just blew up my fucking batteries. How come you told me to do that? I'm telling you right now, this is a disclaimer. If you don't know what you're doing, get somebody who does. These things can burn down your house, potentially kill you. If you're sleeping and you got these left on a charger and you don't know what you're doing, boom, got a fire, it burns up your house and you're dead. Just that simple. I don't color code it. I don't sugar coat it. That's what can happen. Make sure you know what you're doing when it comes to lithium e-bike batteries. Period. Don't even play with it. Don't even oops, it sparked. If it sparks, get someone who knows and can repair a battery. That's why when Teslas get into the minor fender bender, they're considered junked out. Because if the battery gets even partially damaged on a Tesla, they're junk. Sorry, they're junked out. Right? Okay. Same way with the e-bike batteries. If you don't know what you're doing, get someone who knows what they're doing. Me, I know what I'm doing. I've got more than 10 years dealing with e-bike and e-bike batteries. Believe me, I blew up a lot of them, And from doing that, I've also learned from a lot of them. So yes, get someone who knows what they're doing. Okay. But this is my wife's build, and this is what we're going with. And I thought I would show a quick video about how you can customize just a basic trike into a really, really powerful e-trike. Like I said, she's going to get more than 100 miles worth of charge out of this, 100 miles worth of range, actual range, at 20, I believe this motor runs about at 24 miles an hour, 25 if she's not carrying any kind of cargo or whatnot. But yeah, it's just a standard V-Bore trike, and I really just customized it to house the toolbox on it. I'll put the toolbox back up here. Oh my God, this thing is so heavy. With one hand, this thing is a brute. All right, get this up here. So you get kind of a rough idea. Let me scoot these a little bit closer together. Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. So yeah, this is what you're kind of looking at right here. This is how it's going to look going down the road. And of course, I'll put her light whips on here. I'll put lights all over the bike, and it's going to look extremely cool. So please, check out that video when I make it. Like I said, I'm just waiting for the wire harness to get here. Once it gets here, I'll get everything wrapped up, buttoned up, and we'll take it for a test ride. And I'll get the lights on it, and we'll go from there. So anyway, this is Big D coming at you, or better known as Dr. Diabolical, and welcome to my lab. And I want to say with that, goodbye, good luck, and lights out.